Hello, my name is Ali Carter. I am the founder of Mediate UK, and I'm here today to talk to you about how you can get a financial consent order. So a financial consent order is a legally binding agreement. You can only get one on a divorce, and it makes whatever your financial arrangements or agreement is legally binding, irrevocable, so you can't change your mind, and if you both agree in it, it can provide a clean break, so you can't make a claim against each other in 5, 10, 20 years time, and most people would like that. So how do you get a consent order? It all depends whether you've got an agreement. It's called a consent order because it's by consent, so by that stage you would already have reached an agreement on everything. And there's a few different ways to reach an agreement. In fact, you've got 11 ways, believe it or not, to reach an agreement. Have a look at our blog and you can go through those 11 ways. You will use one of them, or you may even try a few before you get there. So what do you do when you have an agreement and you want to get a consent order? You can go online. There's a few online services. Have a look at their reviews. There's some links on this blog to some of them as well, and that will be the most cost-effective option. The trade-off for that is that it takes a little while, usually about 3 months, to get your draft order back, and then it has to be agreed and sent to the court. And also that it's not a regulated process. You're not using regulated solicitors to draft them. I'm going to say a nice word about Divorce Online. They do offer an option for a regulated solicitor. That's important for you as well. So that's one of the options, and that would tend to be at the budget end. An even cheaper option is you could draft it yourself. I would only suggest you do this if you have legal training and are confident in that. I have never known a consent order get through a court that has been drafted by someone who isn't legally trained. I'm sure that must have happened, but they are rather carefully worded, and it's just not going to get through a court unless it has been drafted by a solicitor, in my opinion. I'm sure you can prove me wrong and show me some cases. So most times you need to use someone with legal training to do that. So online is one option. Second option is you can go to your solicitor to do it. You can't both go to the same solicitor. They can only act for one of you. So when you're doing that, just make sure you're using a solicitor who is resolution signed up to resolution to do things amicably, and that they're not going to try to prolong or undo your agreements. As long as it's a good and fair agreement that you're happy with, they should take your instruction and draft the order as you've agreed. And prices are going to vary a lot on that. Most solicitors will quote you a price, but it will include for drafting the order, but there may be extras beforehand to give you advice. There will certainly be extras if you're asking them to do any checks on the financials. So the quote they give you will normally just be for drafting the actual order that you've agreed, and their prices don't normally include VAT. So you'll be looking from anything around about £720, including that, all the way up to £5,000 for a more complicated order if you're using a solicitor in London, perhaps. The most I've heard quoted was £6,000 plus VAT. So that's another option. The option that Mediate UK offer is only for certain people. It's certainly not for everyone, and it's called a facilitation. It's where you've already got an agreement, and we will do a 90-minute sense check with you. We will make sure you've done your disclosure correctly. We'll go through the whole agreement, make sure you've considered everything that the court would want you to take into account, and then we draw up our paperwork. When you're happy with that, it gets sent to one solicitor who will draft your consent order and deal with the court. So that's the option that we do. That might not be for everyone. You might not need a sense check. You might be perfectly happy with it. But we've found that's the best way to get a legally binding consent order for those types of clients. So there's some different options there. By all means, do your research. Please have a look at reviews. Please consider whether it's important to you if a process is regulated or not. What's the difference? Well, a regulated process means that you've got some fallback if it's been drafted incorrectly and it wasn't actually as you've agreed, and you want to make a claim against your solicitor, then you've got more protection there if they are regulated. So I hope that's been helpful. Have a look through the blog. If you've got any questions on it, give us a call on 0330 999 0959, or you can book in a free 15-minute consultation with ourselves through the website, and we'll be happy to take you through all the options. We only want to help clients who actually want to use us and the service is correct for them. So we're certainly not going to try and sell you a service if it isn't suitable for you. Many thanks.